Daf Yomi Tractate Bava Batra, page 79, top of the page, with the words Ad Nofach. Ad Nofach Ad Shetavo She'ena Tzricha Nifuach Ad Midva Ad Shetadiv Nishmasan Amrilah Ad De'avid Mai Dibai. Even until Nofach, meaning until the fire comes that does not require fanning, nifuach, meaning the fire of Gehenna, which will consume them. Until Mediva, this means until their souls are pained, tadiv. And some say an alternative explanation, it means until God does what he wishes, may devai, my debai, with them and punish them as they deserve. Amar Rav Yehuda Marav. Rabbi Yehuda says in the name of Rav, Kol ha'poresh min divrei Torah eish achalto, shenemar v'nasati es penei bohem, me'ha'eish yatzu v'eish tochalim. Rabbi Yehuda says that Rav says, with regard to anyone who separates himself from matters of Torah, a fire consumes him. As it is stated, and I will set my face against them. Out of the fire they come forth, and the fire shall devour them. Ezekiel 15:7. The Torah is likened to fire in the verse. Is not my word like fire? Jeremiah 23:29. The verse in Ezekiel teaches, out of the fire they come forth. Wow. I just heard this song through the fire. Interesting. Referring by Shaka Khan, through the fire. Referring to those who separate themselves from the fire of Torah. The fire, literally, just before I started reading this, I heard that song by Shaka Khan. Through the fire. Anyway. And the fire shall devour them. They are consumed by the fire of Gehenna. Ki azra dimyon radyoinasan kol ha'poresh asmei b'divrei Torah nofel b'gehenna shenemar adam toiv b'derech haskel mikal rafaim yenuach ve'ein roifim ela gehenim ein rafaim ela gehenim shenemar v'lo yada ki rafaim sham b'imkei sheol keru'eha. When Rav Dimi came from Eretz Yisrael to Babylonia, he said that Rabbi Yonatan says, anyone who separates himself from the matters of Torah falls into Gehenna. As it is stated, the man who strays out of the way of understanding shall rest in the congregation of the spirits. Proverbs 21:16. The way of understanding is the way of the Torah. And the one who departs from the Torah arrives in the place of the spirits, which is nothing other than Gehenna, as it is stated. But he does not know that the spirits are there, that those whom she has called are in the depths of the netherworld. Proverbs 9:18. Mechar ashba, mechar zav zivla, tzlan hasam kol haroi, lemizbeach v'lo levedek habayis, levedek habayis v'lo lemizbeach, v'lo lemizbeach v'lo levedek habayis, ma'alin bahen b'kama shebetoichan. The Mishnah teaches, one who sold a dunghill has sold its manure, and one who sold a cistern has sold its water. We learn in the Mishnah elsewhere in Me'ilah 12b, with regard to any item that is fit to be sacrificed on the altar, but is not fit for temple maintenance, or is fit for temple maintenance but not for the altar, or items that are fit neither for the altar nor for the temple maintenance in their current state, and are slated to be sold with profit used for the temple. In all these cases, if one consecrates these items and then derives benefit from them or their contents for a non-sacred purpose, he thereby is liable for misuse of consecrated property and is obligated to bring an offering as atonement. Ketzad. How so? Higdish Bromalea Maim Ashpos Maleos Zeved Shovach Maleoinim Sod Maleo Asavim Ila Nasui Peros moalin bahem uvema shebesaychan. How so? If one who consecrated a cistern filled with water, dunghills filled with manure, a dovecote filled with doves, a field filled with plants, or a tree bearing fruit, and subsequently derived benefit from them or their contents, is liable for misuse of consecrated property. אשפה ואחר כך נשמע לזבל, שובח ואחר כך נשמע ליונים, אילן ואחר כך לספרס, סודה ואחר כך נשמע לעשבים, מועלין בהן, והם מועלין במה שבסליחה, דבר רבי יהודה. יוסי אומר, הקדיש את השדה, ואת האילן מועלין בהן, ובגידוליהם, מפני שאין גידולי הקדיש. But with regard to one who consecrated a cistern, and it was later filled with water, a dunghill, and it was filled with manure, a dovecote, and it was later filled with doves, a tree, and it later bore fruit, and a field that was later filled with plants. If he derives benefit from them, he is liable for misuse of consecrated property. But if he is not liable for misuse of consecrated property by deriving benefit from its contents, but he is not liable for misuse of consecrated property by deriving benefit from its contents. This is the statement of Rabbi Yehuda. Rabbi Yossi says, with regard to one who consecrated a field or tree, he is liable for misuse of consecrated property if he derives benefit from them, or that which grows from them, because they are growths of consecrated property. Tanya, Amar Rebbe, Nira, Divrei Rabbi Yehuda, Bechor, Vishovach, B'Dvrei Rabbi Yossi, Asadi, Ilanai, Mai, Shlama Nira, Divrei Rabbi Yehuda, Bechor, Vishovach, Miklal de plig asadeh ve'ilan. It is taught in Brayta that Rabbi Yehuda Nasi said the statement of Rabbi Yehuda appears to be correct in the cases of a cistern and a dovecote. If one consecrated an empty cistern or dovecote, the water and doves that later fill it do not become consecrated, and the statement of Rabbi Yossi appears to be correct in the case of a field of a tree. The Gemara asks, what is the meaning of this statement of Rabbi Yehuda Hanasi? Granted, when he says that the statement of Rabbi Yehuda appears to be correct in the case of the cistern and a dovecote, by inference, this means that Rabbi Yehuda disagrees with Rabbi Yossi in the cases of a field and a tree. And Rabbi Yehuda does explicitly disagree with those cases. Amar, Nirin, Divrei, Rabbi Yossi, V'sadeh Ve'ilan, Miklal, the Palagu, Rabbi Yossi, Sadevi Ilan Ka'amar, Rabbi Yehuda and Rabbi Yehuda Nasi said. But when Rabbi Yehuda Nasi says the statement of Rabbi Yossi appears to be correct in the cases of a field and a tree, he indicates by inference that Rabbi Yossi disagrees with Rabbi Tarfon in the case of a cistern and a dovecote. Rabbi Yossi stated his opinion solely in the cases of a field and a tree. Only plants that grow and fruit grow directly from consecrated property, and this reasoning is not relevant in the case of a cistern of dovecotes or a dovecote, a cistern or dovecote. V'chitim l'Rabbi Yehuda Kamar v'Tanya Amar Rabbi Yossi ein ani ro'eh devarav shel Rabbi Yehuda v'sadeh be'ilan mipnei she'en gedulei hekdesh u'v'sadeh be'ilan dehu ve'en ro'eh Bechor v'shovach ro'eh. Excuse me. And if you would say that Rabbi Yossi stated his opinion in accordance with the opinion of Rabbi Yehuda, whereas he himself holds that even the items found in a dovecote or a cistern are consecrated, this is difficult. But isn't it taught in Brayta that Rabbi Yossi said, I do not see the statement of Rabbi Yehuda as correct in the cases of a field and a tree, because the plants and the fruit are the growths of consecrated property. Infer from here that it is in the cases of a field and a tree that Rabbi Yossi does not see and accept the opinion of Rabbi Yehuda. But in the case of a cistern and a dovecote, he does see and accept his opinion. Hachi Kamar Nirin Kevin Rabbi Yehuda Rabbi Yossi Bor V'Shovach She'af Rabbi Yossi Lo Nechalek Alav Ela B'Sadav Yilan Aval Bor V'Shovach Modele. Gemara answers that this is what Rabbi Yehuda Hanasi is saying. The statement of Rabbi Yehuda appears to Rabbi Yossi to be correct in the cases of a cistern and a dovecote. In other words, Rabbi Yehuda Hanasi is saying that even Rabbi Yehuda, even Rabbi Yossi disagrees with Rabbi Yehuda only in the cases of a field and a tree, but in the cases of a sister and a dovecote, he concedes to him that the prohibition against misuse of consecrated property does not apply to items that were added afterward and were not present at the time of the consecration. Tanu Rabbanan Hikdishan Rekan Yachas Malu Moalin Bohen Moalin B'Mash B'Sleichan Rabbi Elazar Rabbi Shimon Omer Af Moalin B'Mash B'Sleichan. We learned in the Brayos the sages taught in the case of sisters with regard to one who consecrates them when they were empty and when they were later filled. If one derives benefit from them, he is liable for misuse of consecrated property. He is not liable for misuse of consecrated property if he derives benefit from their contents. The ruling is with the ruling will be clarified below. Rabbi Elazar, the son of Rabbi Shimon, says when one is liable for misuse of consecrated property, even by deriving benefit from their contents. Rabba said, "Machlokus b'zedei ilan detana kama Sofer Lake Rabbi Yehuda." Rabba says the dispute in the Batra implies only in the cases of a field and a tree, as the first Tana holds in accordance with the opinion of Rabbi Yehuda, and Rabbi Elazar and Rabbi Shimon holds that in accordance with the opinion of Rabbi Yossi. But in the cases of a cistern, a dovecote, everyone agrees that if one derives benefit from them, he is liable for misuse of consecrated property, but he is not liable for misuse of consecrated property if he derives benefit from their contents. Of Amrle Abaya said to him, Ve'ela ha detania, but consider that which is taught in Brayta. Milain Moalin Bahen. Uvamash was talking Rabbi Elazar, Rabbi Shimon Machlif. Abaya said to him, but consider that which is taught in the continuation of the right. If one consecrated them when they were full and then derives benefit from them or from their contents, he is liable for misuse of consecrated property. And Rabbi Elazar, son of Rabbi Shimon, reverses his previous ruling in this case and holds that if the items were consecrated when full, their contents are subject to the prohibition against misuse of personal property. Rabbi Landau.